7点了吗
？7点了。
7点了。
Oh my god！ 我要让大家进来了，可是那个他还
进来了吗？
密码 ，OK？ 你可以帮我跟他对吗？好，那我先让大家进来咯。哎，我在哪里可以选项可以按让大家进来？哎，为什么刚刚有这个选项？
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Thank you. 哦呀 ，OK。哦，我们已经有15位。Yeah. So hi everyone. So we will wait for 5 minutes for more participants to come, and please wait for us. Thank you. 所以是在这边可以看到参与者。跟上场太远。
要不要先静音？
My name is Sham 思成度 and I'm from Taiwan同志热线 Association. And today, this topic of the event is called the LGBTQ plus activism in the time of COVID-19. So we are really honored that we invite like 4 activists from different Asian countries to share like how the COVID-19 have impacted the LGBTQ community in different countries and how they deal with it. Yeah, so so far you can see we only have like 3 participants, 3 speakers, because this one from China and from Japan, and he still have some problem logging to the website of NGO-CSW. So I hope that he can figure out the problem. Yeah, and also originally we will have an activist from Vietnam, but however, Ling from Vietnam, she got sick this time, so she cannot join us. Yeah, so hopefully she will get better soon. So let me give you some background of this event. So COVID-19 has had a major impact on the health and the economy globally, and it has also deeply affected the LGBTQ plus community all around the world. Consequently, LGBTQ plus organizations have developed strategies to support their local communities accordingly. For instance, like in Taiwan, we have some new ways to working. Yeah, and also we know that in China, in Korea, and also in Japan, we all have like a new ways to do activism. So in this session, so we would like to invite LGBTQ plus activists from Asian countries to share their observations and experiences. Yeah, so let me introduce our speakers first. So first we have Robin from China. Robin, you want to say hi?
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Hi.
Okay, and the second speaker will be May from Taiwan.
Hi.
Okay, and the third speaker originally will be Fumino-san from Tokyo, Japan. And the fourth speaker is Jungo from Korea. You want to say hi? You need to turn on the microphone.
Hi.
Okay, yeah. So, okay, so we just go through by order. So first, our first speaker is Robin. Robin is an English teacher and LGBTQ volunteer. So from 2017, he has been participating and organizing activities for the LGBTQ in the cities such as Wuhan, Taipei, and Guangzhou. He hopes to be a connector, helping others while helping himself. Okay, so it's your turn, Robin.
Okay, so shall I share the screen now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, hello everyone. This is Robin. I'm from Wuhan, and I've been a volunteer in Wuhan LGBT centers since 2017. So until now, it's like 4 to 5 years. And 3 years ago, in 2018, I was luckily in Taiwan, in Hotline Association. So that was a beautiful memory. So I'm so thankful that you guys invite me to speak today, to share some stories in Wuhan, in my hometown. So 2020, so last year, was a very difficult time for most of the world. And it all started the lockdown in Wuhan. So the whole city has been totally locked down. That was like in the New Year's Eve, the Chinese New Year's Eve. So that was totally unexpected and unprecedented. We didn't expect such kind of disaster. And also we didn't expect that it could last for like 76 days in my city, and also in the whole world now is still, in a very bad situation. But for most of the LGBTQ people in my hometown in Wuhan, we just like any other ordinary people, we stay at home, praying, waiting, reading the news, hoping everything could, get better and better. But I think it's especially difficult for the HIV positive in our community because of the lockdown. They couldn't get their medicine in time because in China, there's a policy is like if you are a HIV positive, you could only get the medicine in your local CDC or designated hospital regularly. So if the lockdown, has been like 76 days, so most of the people couldn't really get their medicine. And worst of all is like before the Chinese New Year, most of the people has already, gone back to their hometown. And Wuhan is a huge city. We have, more than 10 million people. We have a huge population of college students. They have already gone back, which means that they couldn't really get the medicine. If they are HIV positive, they couldn't really get the medicine in their hometown. They should ask the hospital in Wuhan to mail the medicine back to their hometown. So that was a very long procedure. And even if you are from Wuhan, you live in Wuhan, because the shutdown of the road, you couldn't really go outside. Even if you have a car, you have to have a certain permit to go outside. So that was, pretty difficult. So because of this, the Wuhan LGBT Center, we gathered a lot of volunteers. We have a kind of love convoy. A group of people get to the hospital and get the medicine and help the CDC to mail and hospital to mail the medicine to the HIV positive. So that was a, very hard, very courageous task to do, I have to say, because as you can see in the picture that they have to wear the protective gear, the mask, the clothes, the glasses, a lot of things like that.
If you went to a gay club yesterday?
Sorry? Okay. So I will continue. Maybe we will have a Q&A section in the end, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll continue. So so they have to wear like a lot of this kind of things, and at that moment it was very difficult to buy them. Even if you can buy, it's very expensive. So we ask the general public to help. So within a week we got the donation of all kinds of masks, glasses, and protective gears. That was worth more than like 300,000 RMB. That was like 50,000 US dollar. So it's all come from the general public across China. So so it's not only the efforts of the volunteers, and then they have to get a kind of permit for using the cars and to go through the road. So so each day it's a lot of negotiation, communication, and something like that to go through the city, which is totally empty. And for those people who have got the medicine by mail, they have to travel a lot of times to get it from their local hospital. So in the end, I think by the time of the lockdown lifted, we helped more than 3,000 HIV positive to get to mail their medicine to their local hospital or local CDC. But over 5% of them, when they connected us, they had already stopped their medicine. Someone has already stopped more than 2 months. So, and, for other people, maybe they live in a very far away place. For example, this person, he had to walk almost 7 hours by mountain road to get the medicine. So that was a very big struggle for those people. So you can see that all the medicine from Jingyintan Hospital, and this hospital is not only just a designated hospital that can mail the can get the medicine, I mean ART, for the HIV positive, but also it is the very hospital that has the treatment for those new COVID-19 patients. So it was a very risky thing for those volunteers. So for us, for most of the people staying at home, we did other things, like we helped to donate, and we help to donate money and those gears and disinfectant, something like that. And we hope that the news can come across the country, even the world, because before that, nobody knew that there was LGBT center in Wuhan. But I think now people know that there's an LGBT center, and we had done some very good thing for the public and for the LGBT community, for the HIV positive. And after 76 days, the lockdown has finally lifted. And I think we had to do a lot of things to recover, not only our economy, a lot of things, like we have this COVID-19 PTSD. We need to talk, we need to communicate and chat with other people. So by starting from the end of last year, I have been doing this weekly club salon in Wuhan LGBT Center. Each week we bring some like music, movie, some great discussion with in the LGBT Center. I really want to, create a small space, a safe space for people to talk themselves, to chat with each other, to understand each other, and to comfort ourselves. So I think the mental health issue or the mental counseling is something the center has been doing before the pandemic and during it and after it. I think it's a long-term thing, and it is something that can really, I think it's something that is very powerful and very valuable to do. So so that is my sharing, and thank you so much.
Yeah, so thank you, Raven. And actually, I already read some news talking about the situation happened in Wuhan last year. And I know that the situation actually was really serious. But listen to your presentation again, really just let us know how serious the situation was. And also, I'm really impressed of your work. Yeah, and I know that there are some questions about the women with HIV in Wuhan during lockdown or LBT, and maybe you can share with us later. Okay, so
okay.
Yeah. So for the audience, all audience, so we will let each presenter to have their presentation first, and then we will go to the Q&A session. Okay, so thank you, Robin. Okay, so our next speaker is May from Taiwan.
Hi.
Okay, oh yeah, sorry. I need to introduce you first. Sorry, she's my colleague, so I'm very familiar with her. So let me introduce May with you. So May Ran we call her May. May formerly gained experience as a social worker in the field of sexual violence and HIV/AIDS. Now she is the first straight employee in Taiwan同志热线 Association, which is also my organization, and she holds the position of marketing director. She is responsible for connecting social movements and marketing aimed to publicize LGBTQ plus movements. Okay, so let's welcome May.
Hi, everyone. So it's my pleasure to be here and just, sorry, technical.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you everyone to be here, and I will share our experience with you guys. Since Taiwan, we don't really have that serious problem compared to other countries, but for us, we still find some experience to share. And first, I would like to talk a little bit about Hotline. Hotline is the first LGBT registered LGBT organization in Taiwan. And right now we are here for 23 years. And we are basically provide a service for the LGBTQ community. And first, I would like to share some general observations with you. Compared to, like I said, compared to other countries, the COVID-19 pandemic has been rather well contained in Taiwan. However, when the pandemic first broke out, the public still expressed anxiety and the fear of the disease. Some witch-hunting behaviors towards people infected of the virus were also spotted. Actually, such anxiety, discrimination, and the stigma caused by an infectious disease are more than familiar to the LGBTQ community because the community has been living with HIV/AIDS stigma for more than 30 years. So we are fully aware of the impact of the anxiety and the discrimination caused by the infectious disease, and we have been fighting against it for a long time. But what is different this time in Taiwan is when situation occurred, Taiwanese authorities, such as the health minister and the director of CDC, had appealed to the public several times and remind everyone, what we want to fight against is the virus. No one wants to get sick, so we should treat each other with sympathy. Once we treat each other as enemies, it will become more difficult for us to follow the course of the disease transmission and to manage the pandemic. This is actually a very good development, and we hope that through this kind of public education, the society's fear of other disease will also be transformed in the future. Another interesting gender observation during the pandemic is about the pink mask. As you may see in the picture, everyone wear the pink mask. That's because a young boy said that he didn't dare to go to school wearing a pink mask. So the health minister and his entire team decided to wear a pink mask while hosting a routine press conference. They emphasized that everyone had the right to wear a mask with all different colors, and they challenged gender stereotypes by being a role model themselves. Back on the subject of the pandemic and the LGBT community, we have observed several larger challenges for us. First is contacting, checking, and coming out, as well as the loneliness by social distancing. As part of the effort to contain the pandemic, for all the events taking place, participants need to leave their personal data. And in the case of any potential virus transmission, event organizers are required to provide the authorities with participants' contact information, such as major increases the pressure faced by individuals who haven't come out yet or LGBT teenagers when they wish to take part in the LGBTQ related events, as they are worried that their identity might be exposed. And when the pandemic first hit peak, many events were postponed and took place online, which made it more difficult for this group of LGBTQ individuals to have a social life and to engage in the community. They might even face more questions and control from their family. The second is also the medical issues like China. Some HIV positive individuals are afraid their medical records may be leaked when they use their insurance card to collect masks. Some have changed their medical routine and chosen to collect their medications in the community pharmacy rather than a hospital, because people with HIV are also concerned that if they get the COVID-19, their identity might be exposed. It has also become more troublesome for foreign nationals in Taiwan to get medication. According to Taiwan's policy, foreign nationals with HIV have to pay their own treatments and medications for 2 years. As HIV medications are rather expensive in Taiwan, some foreigners are not able to afford their treatment and daily needs. As a result, they have to travel to other countries regularly to acquire medical resources. Some other foreigners with HIV need to travel back to their birth country to have examinations and collect medications. However, because of the travel restrictions imposed during the pandemic, these people haven't been able to do so. They are currently unable to travel abroad to get the necessary drugs and the tests. Last year, a hotline assisted few foreigners to deal with their medication. Yeah. And the third, there is another group of people who have been affected greatly by the close of national border, as they are cross-national couples and children who are born by a surrogate in a foreign country. Yeah, and the fourth will be livelihood issues. Although the situation in Taiwan is relatively stable, the pandemic has still caused quite some impact on the economy. People who have always been more vulnerable on their job market, such as transgenders, they have been facing more difficulties when looking for employment. Their livelihood has also been impacted. So what we did, when the pandemic first hit, Hotline immediately noticed those phenomena and provided some reminders for the community right away. For example, we remind people of the potential risks of the contact tracking and coming out. We also collect domestic as well foreign information to offer gay males suggestions about a safe and healthy sex life in the pandemic time. These were all our efforts to help protect the community during the pandemic. And the pandemic has reduced the opportunities for the LGBTQ community to have physical interaction with each other. Therefore, during the most difficult time, we made 7 online videos as a way to accompany the community. What we did is also trying to developing online work models. In addition to making videos and organizing virtual gatherings online, we have also started our own YouTube channel, hosting live broadcasts and producing podcast shows in order to enhance our connection with community on the internet and to continue to advocate for the issues we valued. For example, right now we have 3 podcast shows which are related to the elderly issues, lesbians, and the polyamorous issues. And during the pandemic, one of the effects is many talks on campus were forced to be canceled. However, we know that LGBTQ individuals who need support and recognition are still there. Therefore, our education group produced 4 videos featuring life stories of LGBT. By reaching every corner on the internet with these videos, we want to tell everyone I'm LGBT too, and you are not alone. Those video has English subtitles, so we will share the link with you in the chat room later. So if you like, and you are able to share to your community as well. And here is a conclusion. The pandemic has changed our environment and needs. Most organizations we know are capable of spotting the needs of the community immediately. But in order to do it well, organizations also have to make an inventory of their own resources and understand their position. We have learned 2 things. One is we need to reevaluating our work. Because of the need of avoid physical interactions, we've noticed the importance of applying new technologies. We have tried out new online models for interaction like YouTube and the podcasts, and have been made aware that we need to enhance our learning ability as well as to go through a digital reform. This will be a challenge we have to continue dealing with after the pandemic. And we also have encountered more cases of donors withdrawing their donation. Actually, we haven't figured out any proper solutions yet, and we'd like to hear your experience and learn from you all. The second is we see the new work approaches brings us new opportunities and connections. We have started organizing online gatherings, which pose some new challenges different from physical gatherings, such as how to protect privacy and to have stable internet connection. Yet meanwhile, we have also noticed that without the geography limitation, more LGBT individuals from different areas have been able to join our events. For example, teenagers from cities and countries outside of Taipei, and even LGBTQ individuals who are studying abroad have attended our LGBT teenagers gatherings. As a result, although we have our physical meetings back, we continue to organize the online gatherings to provide LGBTQ teens more opportunities to connect with each other. Furthermore, we have witnessed how our podcast shows have managed to break our echo chamber. For example, our podcast show about lesbian issues also have many straight female audience. So basically, it's what we experience in Taiwan, and we like to hear your comment, and we can talk it later.
Okay. Okay, thank you, May. Okay. Yeah, so okay, so our next speaker will be Jungo from Korea. So let me introduce Jungo first. Okay, so Jungo Lee is a member of the steering committee Rainbow Action Against Sexual Minority Discrimination. So he is also the general director of Korea Gay Men's Human Rights Group, Chingkusai. And Chingkusai means between friends in Korea. So, so let's welcome Jungo. Now it's your turn.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Jungo Lee, and thank you so much to Tom's Hotline and other organizers for making today's meeting. And I'm not good at speaking in English, but I'll do my best. And today I would like to talk about the Today I would like to talk about LGBTI situation in Korea related to COVID-19 from 2020 to 2021. And today I will the presentation title is "How is our daily life now?" The reason why I decided on the title of the presentation is because I wanted to ask you how our lives have changed due to COVID-19. It's also because I'm curious about the lives of LGBTI people in Asia. Let's start the presentation now. Let me briefly introduce myself. And I work as a general director of Jungo, which conducts human rights counseling and consumption activities and cultural content production and suicide prevention project of LGBTI community. Now also work as a steering member of Rainbow Action in consists of 40 sexual minority groups, which respond to the media and the government against hate and discrimination against sexual minorities. And I will tell you briefly about the COVID-19 situation in South Korea. In the early days of the COVID-19, migrants, including Chinese and certain religious groups, were blamed for the collective infection, which led to serious hatred of them. And there's a high risk of impacting the disabled and migrant workers with weak human rights conditions. And excessive exposure to individual is serious because of quarantine. There was also a part where an individual who violated quarantine rules was responsible for civil and criminal responsibility alone. In this situation, there was a confirmed case of corona in early May 2020 in the gay community. At the time, between April 13th and May 5th was the holiday season, and the corona confirmed cases were low. At the time, corona cases occurred mainly in clubs, frequently visited by members of gay community, and gay sauna and gay bar. An anonymous test was conducted on 5,570 visitors from 5 clubs in Itaewon and 57,536 visitors to Itaewon. There was 96 confirmed cases among those who visited the area in the early days and 150 confirmed cases in the subsequent secondary inspections. The reason why the inspection was possible was because the quarantine authorities checked the location-based data of mobile phones and credit card details and public transportation usage records and CCTV records. The government say it cannot help using a wide range of personal information while actively promoting these systems overseas. If you look at the picture above, you can see that not only Seoul, but also the Itaewon Club from all over the country in South Korea, even considering the holiday season. This means that there is a limited space for members of the gay community. And without an understanding of the gay community's play culture or the conditions of life, we were able to have a wrong perception of gay life. And what has happened since the confirmed cases is hate speech and hate crime against the gay community. The media's report on the gay club led to severe criticism and ridicule of the gay community at the time. Especially hate expressions toward gay people who came out of their daily lives or online were also serious. A student who came out of high school was asked mockingly, if you went to a gay club yesterday, and there was an abhorrent crime of throwing eggs or painting lacquers at the front door of the club where the confronted person visited. This means gay, Korean word letters. And due to the quarantine authorities policy, commercial spaces in the gay community have been closed or reduced its operating hours. Pride Parade was held online only, and various LGBTI events were canceled or reduced. There's an extreme fear of LGBTI community members gathering in the community space, and some members are criticizing gay visitors to LGBT community space, such as Itaewon Jongno. At the time, LGBTI human rights groups hurriedly set up a response headquarters. On May 12, we organized queer action against COVID-19 response headquarters to consult and respond to human rights violations. The confirmed person's workplace was disclosed, and there were accusations against the confirmed person on the online bulletin board. We also promoted the inspection to encouraging visitors to visit Itaewon area, and monitoring the media response and communicating with the quarantine authorities and calling for improvement of the problem, and non-metropolitan areas were monitored. The above photos are English version of a promotional material that informs the medical examination and counseling course at the time. Lastly, I organized the points that we should respond to in the future. First of all, we should ask for ways to minimize personal information exposure. The excessive collection of personal information of quarantine purpose is a violation of human rights. The need for daily space for LGBTI should be rebuilt further. In a disaster situation, LGBTI is becoming more isolated and disorganized. Although we are going, the LGBT community should plan to have a better awareness of infection disease, including HIV/AIDS. There was a situation where people with HIV could not be treated because of corona. An HIV infected person had his finger amputated at a working factory and visited 14 hospitals overnight, but could not have surgery because of corona. In addition, it is necessary to prepare laws and systems containing content that oppose hate and discrimination in medical institutions and media outlets and government agencies to prevent discrimination in disaster situations. Therefore, it's urgent to enact a comprehensive anti-discrimination law. I've summarized the corona situation in LGBTI community in Korea since the mass infection of Itaewon Club occurred in May 2020. In the midst of a disaster, the LGBTI community has been denied its existence, and the time and space of everyday life are threatened. It's not face-to-face era, but we still have to meet more often. In this regard, I would like to share my condolences to the transgender who recently passed away in Korea. I hope we can live our daily lives more often and fight to the end. And this is the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jungo.
Thank you.
Yeah. Before we already heard the news that the LGBTQ community just suffer from like a huge stigma of the COVID-19 in Korea. And thank you for just sharing with us how the situation and how you fight back and fight for the community. Okay, so our next speaker, unfortunately, originally we invited Fumino-san from Tokyo Rainbow Pride. However, he cannot be here because he have problems logging into the NGO-CSW website, and still until now he cannot find a solution. So he just sent me his manuscript. So I will share his slides and just read his manuscript to everyone. Okay, so Okay, so let me introduce Fumino-san first. Yeah, so Fumino Sugiyama. Fumino-san was born in 1981 in Tokyo, Japan, and he was a former member of Japan women's national fencing team. And he is a trans man. He's a transgender activist. In 2016, Fumino published an autobiography called Double Happiness. Fumino was graduated with a master's degree from Waseda University in 2017. Now, Fumino is a wrestler and an LGBT enlightenment activist. He's also a co-representative of Tokyo Rainbow Pride, which is organizing the biggest pride parade in Japan. As a member of the Shibuya World Gender Equality and Social Diversity Promotional Committee, Fumino was part of the movement that led towards Shibuya World become the first in Japan to recognize same-sex partnership in 2015. So currently, Fumino is the father of 2 children. Yeah. Okay. So I'll share Fumino's slides. Sorry, wait a second. 对，我说停止分享。有，他说6、7、8先删掉。Okay. Can you see Fumino's slide now? Robert and Jungo, can you? No? Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I'll try my best. Okay, so I just represent Fumino to share his manuscript to everyone. So good evening, everyone. So I'm Fumino. Nice meeting you all today. I'd like to talk about LGBTQ issue in Japan. I'm co-heading the Tokyo Rainbow Pride, which organizes the biggest pride parade in Japan. We hold the pride every year at the end of April. Last year, due to the COVID-19, we canceled the physical parade and hosted an online event instead. We didn't have much time to prepare, but we could get a large traction from Japanese society. Please watch the short movie of the pride.
ハッピータイム。いよいよ始まりました東京レインボープライド。
今回ね、代々木公園での開催というのは中止になってしまったんですけれども、
投票まで行けなかったんですけどとか、やっぱりそのまだカミングアウトしてないから会場に行くにはちょっと勇気が必要だったんだけどっていう方たちもこのオンラインだったら参加できるっていうことで結構ね本当にポジティブなメッセージたくさんいただいたんですよね。
のお家で
Okay. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed the video. It will be held online again this year, and it is currently being prepared. The first ever Pride was hosted in Japan in 1994. In 2012, the number of participants remained for 5,000. However, it had grown rapidly to 200,000 by 2019. In 2020, for the virtual events, the number has increased to 450,000 people. This huge increase indicated the growth in support for LGBTQ community in Japan. As you can see, there is a jump in numbers from 2014 to 2015. What's happened? In April 2015, Japan's first same-sex partnership certificate was issued by Shibuya World Office. This was a big advance for equality and minority rights. This incredible step massively increased awareness of the LGBTQ community. Okay. Now 79 local governments introduced same-sex partnership, and about 1,600 couples have registered. Shibuya World started this movement by local governments all over Japan. Also, in February 2019, 13 same-sex couples across Japan filed lawsuits against the national Japanese government to seek marriage equality for the first time. Last week, a big step in Japanese history was taken. Sapporo District Court said ban on the same-sex marriage is unconstitutional and violates Article 14, which outlaws discrimination on grounds of race, creed, sex, social status, or family origin. Obviously, having a marriage equality is the urgent need for same-sex couple, but also that's true for transgender people. Let me talk a bit about myself. Please watch the short video.
一応僕は杉山家の次女として生まれたんですけれども、もう物心ついた時にはこうなんか自分のこの体がおかしいなってずっと思っていて、もう幼稚園の入園式の時には、お母さんにスカート履けって言われてやだって泣いて逃げていたので、いつからそうだったのって言われたら生まれた時からとしか言いようがないのかなというふうに思っていて。
Fumino Sugiyama is a transgender man in Tokyo who still carries papers that say he is legally female. In Japan, the law says that trans people who want to be legally recognized according to their gender identity have to undergo numerous surgical procedures that are irreversible and invasive and expensive, including a procedure that sterilizes them.
僕自身は、乳房切除を行ったんですけれども、まだ子宮卵巣の摘出が終わってないので、その条件を満たすことができなくて戸籍の変更ができていないと。
日本は人の性を性器によって決めてます。 あなたの性別はこちらですっていうふうに、いわゆるアサインドジェンダーですね、見なされている、社会から決められている性別に対し違和感を持って、それをトランスしていく、移行していきたいと思っている人たちのことをトランスジェンダー。私が大阪医科大学の中で、いわゆる日本でいうジェンダー外来っていうのを始めてから今年で20年目になります。でそうなった時に、今の日本のガイドラインっていうのはおせっかいなぐらい慎重です。大きな問題としての、生殖能力を永続的に失っている状態にあることっていうのに関しては、もうその当然なくすべきですし、
Forcing anyone to undergo a surgical procedure, in particular one that sterilizes them, in order to be recognized before the law is a human rights violation.
ハードルが高すぎます。アメリカでは手術しなくても性別が変更できるというのを読みました。
オペとなるとどうしても一大事です。命に関わることでもあるし。
手術は本当はしたくないですけど、日本で結婚するためにはそれが要件だからしなきゃいけない。
僕と今のパートナーは、今8年以上一緒にいるんですけれども、関係性で言うと、男女のカップルと変わらないとは思うんですが、法律上は女性同士ということになっているので、いわゆる婚姻関係っていうのは取れない。
Not only can transgender people like Fumino not get married because they don't have the proper identification documents, but they also struggle to access healthcare, education, and to travel with documents that don't match their identity and appearance.
例えば僕なんかだとパスポートがフィメールなわけですよね。でも見た目こんななのにパスポートフィメールで入国審査で引っかかっちゃって、お前そのヒゲ面でフィメールってどういうことだと。で、それで実は入国拒否にあった国もあったんですよね。お恥ずかしながらスピード違反で捕まっちゃった時に、お前さんに免許出せって言われて免許出したら、この免許がないぞと。じゃあ、女子の方の登録見てくださいって言ったら、ありました。そういったことは数えきれないほど普段の生活の中であるので、僕は個人的にはオープンにして暮らしてますので、何かあれば説明をすればというのはありますけれども、ほとんどの、当事者はまだまだそういったことを言わずに暮らしているので、そのたびに引っかかってしまうっていうのは生活の中でも本当に大きな苦痛や苦労があるんじゃないかなというふうに思います。
Japan should revise its legal gender recognition law to bring it in line with international human rights standards. Some trans people do want to undergo medical procedures to affirm their gender identity and align their body with the way they want it to be. But those procedures should be completely separate from any legal process to recognize their identity.
ちょうど昨年末に、精子提供を受けて彼女が、出産をしてですね、今子供と一緒に暮らしてるんですけれども、彼女がシングルマザーという形で、法律上はなっている。なので僕はただのその同居人という、これだけ毎日おむつ替えてミルクあげてってやっていても、何も関係性はないっていうのが現実かなと。
Okay. Yeah. So I'll continue Fumino-san's slide. Okay. So as a transgender, marriage equality is critical for our human rights. Finally, let me touch on this exciting new project called Pride House Tokyo. Pride House is a project to provide a venue that welcomes everyone regardless of sexuality or gender identity during international sporting events such as Olympic, Paralympic Games. It aims at sharing local cultural information about LGBTQ people, providing learning opportunities for issues, possible solutions from the perspective of sports and LGBTQ, and offering various mini sporting events for everyone to participate, including locals and visitors. It began in Vancouver in 2010, and NPO there was exploring a way to communicate a message to the conservative and homophobic sporting world to be more open to diversity. The group was also looking at how best to make most of the opportunity of when people from all over the world would concentrate their attention to sport. Their answer was to open a pop-up hospitality center called Pride House. Its purpose was to provide information to promote the proper understanding of the LGBTQ community and offer people a place where LGBTQ athletes, their families, and tourists coming to see the Olympic Games could feel safe and secure. Since then, this concept was carried on, and various local organizations across the world have operated and managed Pride houses during large-scale international sporting events like Olympic and Paralympic Games. Okay. We started a project called the Rainbow Youth Community. This is an online project to end and support the sexual minority community. The project aimed to create a place where all people can feel safe, make a connection with others, and talk about the positive future even during the global pandemic of COVID-19. The project consisted of 3 major contents. First, emergency survey. 2, YouTube Live. 3, online talk events, all dedicated to supporting the LGBTQ youth population who are said to feel even more isolated and have trouble finding a place of their own in the wake of the global pandemic. Especially the emergency survey is very important as it can become more difficult for the smaller voices to be heard during time of crisis. The LGBTQ Youth Today emergency survey was conducted to listen to the anxieties and struggles of the LGBTQ youth, visualize the issues, and widely share the information in order to help improve the situation. We got answers from about 1,700 young people. The survey results can be viewed on the Pride House website. Please check it. This survey and experience will be used to create a space where the LGBTQ youth can feel safe, make meaningful connections, and have a positive outlook for the future, not only during the current pandemic, but in a post-COVID society as well. So in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have moved plans forward to open a comprehensive LGBTQ center last year. The center, located on the 2nd floor in Shinjuku, the center of Tokyo. There are large bookshelves with LGBTQ community archive, meeting rooms, broadcast booths, a cafe corner, and a multi-purpose space. Using online initiatives and other means, our aim is to collaborate with LGBTQ organizations and professionals throughout Japan. The Pride House Tokyo legacy as an LGBTQ center has become part of the official program of the Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee. This is a world first in the Pride House history. Okay, so thank you for your time today. Please visit us when you come to Tokyo. I do hope that we promote equality and pride together with you. So thank you. Okay. Okay, so this is Fumino's presentation. So actually, although Fumino cannot log in to the NGO-CSW website, he is still with us. He watched the live stream link through YouTube, which may just share with all of you in the chat column. So, and Fumino-san will watch all this through this event. So you are very welcome if you have questions for Fumino, you can just text your questions here, and I will text to Fumino and to see his responses to you. Okay, so thank you for all 4 presenters. And so now we are going to the Q&A session. Okay, so I think we already have some questions, right? Okay, let me see. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so I think the first question is to Robin. So Robin, Yuanfen want to ask you, how was situation for women with HIV plus in Wuhan during the lockdown or LBT?
Yeah, for all the HIV positive people, you know, we just mail the medication to them. So it doesn't just divide to male or female. And also for like my weekly salon, you know, over the past, at the very beginning, only like gay men's, you know, came to the salon. But over the past few weeks, we have like lesbian, like I think 2 weeks ago, we have a couple, lesbian couple coming to the salon because March was our women's topic. So we share an album by Taiwan Wei, is a female singer in mainland China, and she published an album, you know, talking about 11 different women in her life. So, you know, so the lesbian couple were very curious about, you know, what those women's story about. So, you know, more and more like lesbian and, you know, women, straight women coming to the salon. So I think, yeah, and also, you know, for the Wuhan LGBT Center, the one that I'm volunteering in, we have a lesbian group, we have a transgender group. So they have their like own activities, you know, every week. So I think it's like a big family, a big space. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Robin. So our next question is to May. Okay, so May, could you, so it's a question from Christopher. So could you elaborate on the reason why it is more difficult for transgender to find jobs during COVID-19 in Taiwan?
Okay, I should say when I prepare the presentation, I asked all my colleagues if they notice any difficulties. And my colleagues who is responsible for the transgender group, she shared with her experience that during the COVID-19, actually Taiwan still has some like I mentioned, like our donation is dropping, and so the economy is not going well. So for her, she really met many transgender come to her to share that they have some difficulties on the job market. Of course, we don't really have the statistic, but that's how our work experience. And for her, she say like, because for those bad timing, the most vulnerable will be like a minority, and the transgender in this case is more obvious. So I hope it's like answer you a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, May. Okay, for all audience, if you have some questions, you can just text here and we will answer to your question. Or if you want if you have some feedbacks or some experiences want to share, you can also just text here. Okay, so yeah, I have a question for all the presenters. So I'm just curious, like, so how's the situation in each country now? Yeah. So
okay.
Okay. So Jungo, you want to answer okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Members of the gay community in Korea remember their hatred of gay people in May, and they are afraid of such a collective infection in gay community. last year, a gay confirmed person was criminally punished for lying about his route. The social condemnation of him was too much. And the organization I work for is the main driving force of our members' activities. And this is a problem that connects not only gay groups, but also LGBTI groups in Korea. So the Rainbow Action I work for gave me the main focus of this year's main slogan is contact. At this time, we thought we should shout and we should meet more, and we should organize our actions so that we can meet often. And we will want to, we argue that we have to organize our actions or meetings. And this is main our Rainbow Actions this year's slogan.
Okay, thank you. Robin, do you want to answer?
So I think after the lockdown lifted, so Wuhan has recovered, I think, relatively very soon compared with the rest of the world. So now our life is just like usual life, apart from everywhere we go we have to wear masks. Every public place we go we have to use our QR code to for safety issue. So I think people here in Wuhan are very, very especially careful about our safety. And last year after the lockdown lifted, there is a magazine called Gay Spot. It's a very influential magazine here in China. And all the editors just come to Wuhan LGBT Center. They want to get to know more stories about LGBTQ people during the pandemic, during the lockdown. But at the result, they think that issue is, very, it's like ordinary people's issue is like, we are not able to go out. We are not able to buy food, drink. We try our best to find those things. But also for the gay, lesbian, transgender people, I think staying at home, especially during the Chinese New Year, the challenge is that you have to face your parents, your relatives. Sometimes you are forced to come out, and even if you are forced to come out and you have to stay inside, you couldn't really, to do anything else, to go to your friend's home, something like that. So that was the challenge. But I think the challenge is very ordinary people's challenge. Yeah. But now it's getting better. Yeah, better and better, I think.
Okay, thank you, Robin. And May?
Yeah, and I think it's similar in Taiwan. Taiwan is quite normal. We really have like a normal life right now, but I think it's still hard for some cross-nation couples. This will be more difficult for them, but overall, I think in Taiwan, everything seems very normal, and we hope we can really open our border soon, so everyone are able to visit each other, and Pride, or we also have Trans March in October. Yeah, so hope everything will getting better soon. Yeah.
Okay, so here is Fumino-san's answer. So Japan has very few deaths from COVID-19, but the public is very dissatisfied with the government. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have a question for Jungo. So what actions has the governments or the gay community in Korea have been doing on the deaths of the first transgender lieutenant? So it's the question from Akina. So.
Okay, we have been memorial service since the death of a transgender soldier. It's not easy to rally due to Corona. In particular, Seoul is not easy because rallies are prohibited in the main street. So we are showing our symbol by freely taking the subway and the memorial service at Seoul Plaza. And now today we are organizing on the another memorial service and action in this weekend. And because of 13th March is a transgender day of visibility, and then we have a slogan. We have a transgender people. We live with transgender people, and in this weekend and Saturday, in this Saturday, we will take the subway in subway and going out to Seoul Square and to have a press conference, and we'll in action to we have a memorial service for transgender military man.
Yeah, and actually, I have a question for you too, because I'm not sure if you also have the issues about the fundraising, if your donation get influenced, or do you have any strategy for that? Yeah, that's yeah.
I need a time to answer. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. Yeah.
So Robin, can you answer the question first?
Yeah. So because of as I mentioned, because of the COVID-19, I think Wuhan as a city known to the world, and so as the LGBT Center, we have some of the international coverage of our work. So in this case, some of the like 2 years ago when I was in Seoul in Yoga Asia, some of the people, the donors, directly contacted me and said that they want to help Wuhan and to show the solidarity of the world at that very moment. So that was I think that was the time I feel so fortunate that I can be part of this, because it's just what I really want to be. I want to be a linker to Wuhan as a city, to the LGBT Center here. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, yeah, please.
Yes. Okay. The situation seems to be slightly different from different groups. What's more worrisome is that the situation is a gay club or gay bar. This is very they can't open their clubs or bars. They and the community, a small bar is not open to because of Corona, and then they can it's not easy to manage gay clubs or gay bars, but it's a community problem, and this problem is it's connected with LGBT's mental issue, like a suicide or some illness about balloonies.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I know that English is not our mother language, so yeah, so and it's fine. Okay, so now goes to May. Do you want to answer the question about fundraising?
Yeah, actually, I asked that because I think we have a troubles about that. Even it's not very obvious jobs, but I can still notice that last year Hotline has really difficulty about fundraising. Like many like I think I worked for Hotline for 6 years, and last year is the year there's more than maybe 10 people. They write email to me and they say they want to withdraw their donations because of the COVID-19. And right now, I really don't have a good solution for that. So that's why I want to ask you if you have any ideas about that. But I think we will try to see how can we do, and support each other.
Okay. So Fumio-san just text me his questions, his answers to the questions. So let me reply to you. So okay, sorry. Back to the previous question about the situation in each country now. So he mentioned that Japan has very few deaths from COVID-19, but the public is very dissatisfied with the government. The domestic atmosphere is very bad as the media fruits scandals of politicians. And as Fumino-san mentioned earlier, the progress in same-sex marriage proceedings has been very bright news for the LGBT community. And okay, so now to the question about fundraising. So he mentioned that collecting donations actually is very difficult. So Tokyo Rainbow Pride was minus 20 million Japanese yuan last year. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, yeah. So okay, so there's one more question for I think it's for everyone. So it's from Christopher. So what's when the usual support network stop to function, is virtual events enough to generate a sense of community to LGBTQ plus people? So okay, so does anyone want to answer this question? Okay, so or Robin or May, do you want to go first?
Robin can go first.
Okay. So yeah, I think I still value the face-to-face communication, and you know, I still remember at the very last salon I organized last year. I mean, before the Chinese New Year, because one of the one guy, you know, from other province, and he just came to Wuhan and traveled around for like only 30 minutes and then went back to his city because he wants to take a round about the small, how to say, it's like a small shops and to go around. And then, you know, this guy is tested positive of COVID-19. So that was the time, you know, people in Wuhan began to, you know, fear again, and the government stopped that big market for like 3 days and to, you know, to disinfect everything. But for our event, we just limit the number of participants. Only like 10 people is the maximum number. So even you know, because when I want to organize that event, and my colleague told me that if you want to do it, and this time only the maximum number is 10 people, so do you still want to do it? And I say that I really just want to do it, or even if there are only like 10 people. But I think this is a kind of like a gathering, and some people maybe they're in need of, you know, help or chat or discussion. Maybe they just come here, you know, every Tuesday night. So I don't want to stop. And I think maybe this is the last event of the whole year. So let's just do it. So still, you know, 10 people coming to the salon, and we had a very great time. I think that the human to human, you know, communication and connection is very unique. It's different. It's totally different from the virtual, you know, like online discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think it's similar here. And basically our event go back to the physical one right now. So, but like I mentioned, we still value the virtual platform because we can reach out more people. We cannot just like right now, we don't need to be in New York and we can still able to attend the CSW NGO. But the truth is like people still need the connections, like a face-to-face one. And then that's also very important for LGBT community actually, because I think we are all also familiar with the online chatting and that kind of platform, but we really need to like a physical attachment. So that's, yeah, what I think. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jungo.
Okay. Korea is still considering a way that it can, possible ways. We are going to proceed both online and offline. It will depend on the situation. However, offline behavior seems to gather emotions more. Of course, online situation is more helpful. It seems to be more accessible. However, we need an element to have more fun by online. And the small meeting is still going on. There are times when it needed more, like groups counseling. I think I think we will make more of the kind of event in small groups because we need more deep conversation within our groups. And then, but it's not the good. It's not easy. It's very hard to take a time, but we will more often all offline meetings by small meeting because we need a more deep conversation within LGBT community.
Thank you. Okay, Fumina-san is still texting, so but he just mentioned about something more of the situation of Tokyo Rainbow Pride. So as I mentioned for him that Tokyo Rainbow Pride was minus 20 million Japanese yuan last year. And actually, we know he has no income from Tokyo Rainbow Pride. Yeah, and also this year, there's only legal income. And all of the management staff managed to secure income from other jobs. So even with like 450,000 people attending the online events, the sponsoring companies are very tough this year. So they're still having a difficult time now. Okay, and to the questions of Christopher's question about what the usual support network staff function, is virtual event enough to generate a sense of community for LGBTQ plus people? So his answer is that there are good sides and bad sides. So good sides is everyone can join from all over Japan, also from all over the world. A bad side, there's no uplifting feeling walking under the sky. Oh, wow, that is quite obvious, yeah. Yeah, okay. So I think we still have a limited time. So if you still have questions or feedbacks or any experiences you want to share, you can just text and I will read for you. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah. So for all the presenters, do you have like any like last sentence want to share with the audience? So maybe everyone can have like one word for the audience. Okay.
Okay, I can go first.
Good.
Yeah, I really want to, we can like a meeting real again very soon. Yeah, I also miss the face-to-face communicate with from the different countries activists. So I really hope to see you very soon. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Yes, maybe I can go. Yeah, I just feel so lucky that we we just go through all of this, and we're still alive, and we're still having this discussion. So yeah, I hope that I can't wait to go back to Taiwan to meet you guys, and maybe Korea for another time. Yeah, very sweet memory. Yeah.
And Jungo.
I agree with May's opinion to re-evaluate our activities. It seems that an intermission inspection is necessary. During this time, we would like to re-examine our activities and organization and make it an opportunity to gather more. And then we need to gathering like this meeting and the other side and foreign country, and very it's meaningful time to us. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually, it's our privilege to have like all of you to this event, and I really hear very precious experiences during the pandemic time. Yeah, and really thank you for sharing, and also for Fumino from Japan. Too. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I really hope that we can have a chance to meet each other soon. Yeah, and oh yeah, here comes Fumino's message. So Fumino says, thank you for your valuable opportunity today. Nevertheless, I'm really sorry I couldn't log in. Yeah, but
this
somehow
is
we
online
just
meeting problem.
Yeah, what?
This is online meetings problem.
Yeah, it's on the meetings problem. Yeah. Okay. So would like to apologize to everyone in Asian countries. See you soon. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So as I mentioned, that it's really a great opportunity to meet all of you online. So hopefully next time we can meet each other in person. Yeah, and to communicate more. Yeah. So and hope the pandemic can be the situation can become better and better. So yeah, so less people will suffer from this. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, and thank you all the audience. Thank you for your questions, and thank you. Okay,
take
so
care.
Please take care. Stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh, yeah. So sorry. I forgot to mention that we need to think about the Women's Foundation in Taiwan to help us to set up online link, the live stream link. So if you want to, if just join to us in the middle of the meeting, you can May will send the link again, so you can just you can just click the link and go to the YouTube channel to see the full meeting. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So now,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.